Welcome to Eventing Live. This show, as a reminder, was created to provide you with a behind the scenes conversation we have with each other because we represent different areas of the event industry. And we thought, why not share what we've been doing and going through and be able to answer any questions you have? We're three real, honest people who have such a passion for this industry, and we're here to share our personal stories, opinions, and the latest trends. My name is Amanda Hughes. I'm the founder of Smiling Through Chaos. I help women and couples smile more, stress less, and look and feel their best during their event planning experience. I help to create amazing, personalized, customized events, from weddings to big birthdays and everything in between. I'm also certified in many areas of wellness. So when you start to stress, I'm here to help you smile bigger. I can't wait for you to learn more about my co-host, Kwa. He is my good friend, and he's from Live Picture Studios.
Hey Amanda, how's it going, everybody? How you
Hi.
doing? We're going live at 7 o'clock right now, and hopefully people are eating and not watching it, right?
Even if they're eating and watching, whatever works.
That's
Drinking,
right.
eating,
Hey, we're
as long
providing
as
we're,
we're
we're,
having fun together.
we're providing content, and hopefully it's useful for those that could watch it even later, right, on demand.
Totally. And entertaining, because we want you to smile, we want you to laugh and just enjoy, because every day we go through so much stress that this is supposed to be just the time to enjoy with us.
Right, exactly. So what's on today's plate, Amanda?
Well, I want to just start out by saying we are going to have Q&A time, so ask your questions. You might want to save them until a little bit later. But also Josh, our other co-host, had a last minute change and had a wedding moved to tonight. So he's unable to be with us. But
Uh,
we will miss him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's always fun to be with and has so much ideas and so creative and well, next week, right? So make sure for everybody, just make sure everyone is joining the youtube.com/live picture studios and subscribe. If you're and hopefully, the way it works is that when we go live or when we schedule something live, you get it in your inbox and hopefully you could join us and hear some of the latest and greatest content for the what's going on in the wedding industry.
Yeah, and you can put a reminder. I did it. I even did it for our show. I set a reminder from the YouTube channel. So make
Hmm.
sure to click that button. So
Absolutely.
I wanted to share a kind of funny story that I meant to share a couple weeks ago. And I was like, oh, I would love to hear if you have anything like this.
Hmm.
Things have just been so wild and almost like this should all be a movie in the event industry during this time. So a couple of weeks ago, I was doing a tasting at a venue, and we're not allowed to do tastings in New Jersey inside.
Hmm.
So we planned to sit outside.
Hmm.
Well, it was like raining a little bit, but it started going crazy. And my clients are amazing. And they just were like, it's okay. And they started putting stuff on top of their heads. But it was like, it, it was like we were cracking up
Uh-huh.
because it was so ridiculous that we couldn't go inside for this. So finally the venue was like, all right, we're going inside. But we were soaked, but we were laughing because you have to listen, you're either going to laugh or you're going to cry during this time.
Hmm.
So I'm helping people laugh. Have you had anything like crazy like that?
Not. I mean, for me, for me, I'm a little, I guess, little bit removed from the event part of the wedding. Sadly, I get to miss all the foods and the cocktail hours and everything else. My part is the back end of everything. I run the back end of the company, but what I do is I get feedback from the team here
Mhm.
at and they tell me all these crazy stories that do happen. And but for me, I'm sure you got way better stories than I would be able to tell. But we've done over 2,000 weddings, right, as a company.
Yeah. Hmm.
And the stories I heard was that we seen it and we heard it all, but recently I've been helping out on the live streaming stuff because it's a new
Hmm.
product that we launched and stuff, and we've been doing a bunch of like from a beach wedding all the way to the backyard weddings and live streaming stuff. And I kind of mentioned about that last week, and I don't know. I find it funny or I find it sad. I'm not sure which one it is, but it's more like
What?
it's more like, okay, you're there. The bride and the groom are kind of, controlling everything. They didn't have anyone else controlling it.
Oh, yes. Tell the story. Tell
Yeah,
the
and then,
story.
and then so they're doing this after the ceremony, and which was done really well. They go back in, and there's no itinerary, there's no schedule, and so they go out. They walk downstairs. The cameras are not really. We're not, we're live streaming, but we don't know what we're live streaming yet. So we're just kind of live streaming random people eating and stuff, right? Whatever that is, it's whatever. It's the idea is for people to kind of feel like they're there in the backyard, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden,
Right.
you know, they turn on their music from their computer, and it's like
Oh,
music running, in the underneath the tent. Nobody's watching their first dance.
they didn't
And then
have
I'm
a
wondering,
DJ or a
for
band?
me, I'm wondering, is this a first dance, or they kind of like just hanging out? And I started realizing it's their first dance. So
Did they know it was their first dance?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't
Did
know.
they
But
start
it had
dancing?
to be. You know what? I think they said, I guess let's just do it and then let people figure it out. That was what it was. And so we ended up going, saying, it's live right now. This is the first dance. And then all of a sudden, people say, is this the first dance? People, started coming around, and they're like, oh, then everything is kind of like it's, kind of normal. And then afterwards, it's kind of like they're the one that's doing the own MC. Okay, Dad, come on here and
Well,
dance with me.
I
You
didn't
know?
realize when you said this last week. I said, well, my first reaction was like, obviously there was no planner, but I didn't realize there was actually no DJ or band either. It was from a computer.
Yeah, I mean the music
So
was, yeah, iPhone and stuff. And the way they were broadcasting one time was they took a microphone from
mhm.
they used a microphone, and I think they were broadcasting from the iPhone to go out to the speaker, because they didn't have the technicalities on how to plug it all in. And I was like,
Thank
wow.
goodness you were there because you were at least able to help with that part of
Well,
it where,
we were able to help with the live streaming portion of the quality and
right.
everything else, like, but you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, it was authentic. It's their wedding, and then you had
Were they happy?
they were
Like, I mean,
happy.
obviously they were happy with each other, but I mean, were they happy with their wedding?
You know what? I think they didn't care that much. I think they cared
Gotcha.
about who was there. Like they
Okay.
cared about the speeches, the best man and the maid of honor, and those kind of that are meaningful to them. And obviously they know it's a backyard wedding, but hey, they got it done, and I kind of tipped the hat for them. And I say, hey, they went out, they still captured some moments, and this is a moment that they remembered. And hey, they just wanted to get married. I don't think they cared about the big dreamy wedding.
See,
That
but
you would
this is
do,
the
that
thing,
you wanna, that's in
right?
your field, right?
Well, I love it. But backyard weddings, there's so many different levels of backyard wedding. We used to think of, I mean, you even said it last week, like who wants a backyard wedding? Now everybody wants backyard wedding. But how it used to be, it used to sound so like, oh, you're just doing a backyard wedding, you're trying to get out of paying for a venue, you're doing a
Mm,
simple floral decor, having a few people, something like that. Now, there's all levels. You can do that same thing, but you can go super extravagant
right.
with a backyard wedding.
Yep.
It can be amazing. So, now it's so different.
Now it's like, yeah. I mean, I think now the question is, from a business standpoint, do you find it more opportunities for you? Or is it obviously? I think it's less restrictive because you got no maitre d' on your tail, and it's and is it and do you like it more? Do you like it better?
It's totally different. You're correct about the maitre d'. It depends on the venue of whether they're very easy to work with or not. Some are such a pleasure and I love having their help and it's amazing. And others, they're like, I've been doing this is the famous thing I love to hear. Like, I've been doing this 30 years, lady. Like, let me just roll it, just don't get in my way. And you're like, I'm such a team player that
Yeah.
that kind of that bothers me.
Yeah.
But I'm always like, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't
Yeah.
want to, I want it to be good for the client. Um, so from that standpoint, correct. But having your wedding at a venue is much easier with, you don't have to do rentals. You
That's
have
right.
the tables. You don't have to get a caterer. You have the food. So it's much easier in that respect. But when you're having a backyard wedding, you're having to get linen and tables and chairs and caterers. There's so much more.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, you don't have to have certain aspects of limiting you.
Right. Right.
Like
right.
certain venues will say, we don't allow sparklers while others do, or something like that, where at your house, as long as you have a permit for fireworks, you're allowed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And sparklers, I'm not going to go there, but I mean, I'm sure you can get away with sparklers at your house.
Well, the thing is that the backyard weddings is if you have a good backyard, or are you finding that the clients are going borrowing their friend's house to do their backyard wedding? Maybe this is an opportunity here for everyone to hear. I want to be a part of be a partner. Think about it, Airbnb for weddings.
I have someone who's already doing that. She actually is renting out her backyard because it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I would get married there. It's gorgeous. Has tons of flowers, flat land. The whole property is beautiful.
Wow.
So she's renting it out for people, and she's told me about it for clients. But yeah, I mean, most people, they have to have a big yard in order to have a tent also. Most people, the tent business is doing really well right now.
I'm sure.
And they're very different because they used to be like, you can book a tent and 5 days before you can kind of keep it on hold. Now they're like, you better pay 50% deposit. We're not holding it.
Wow.
And then if you cancel, you lose that deposit. It's definitely different than it used
No,
to be.
are they price gouging people, or are they keeping the same price and then just because of the demand is just so much higher?
I think it's a little bit higher.
Mm-hmm. But they're not taking advantage, like gouging them,
I mean, I think
like the
some
housing market
companies
is doing
are a
to
little
people.
bit. But this is the thing. Some companies are like, if you lose your deposit, if you have to cancel, if the weather's great and you don't want a tent, you can use that towards another event in the next 2 years or so. Other companies are a little bit lower in price, but they're like, that's it. You lose your deposit.
Well,
And we need to know at least a day before to set up, but really 2 days before. And who believes the weather anymore?
Well, if you're talking about losing the deposit, I mean, I'm a believer of that too. We do the same thing as our policy because,
Right.
the idea isn't about just the client. When you book with a vendor, that means you book their time, you book their opportunity, and if you cancel it, or whatever that is, they just lost opportunity. You just took money out of their own bank, out of thin air.
I do not think most people look at it that way.
But
And it's really good you're saying it because most people are like, you didn't do any work yet. You
Right.
took that spot.
It's
You
a
took
selfish.
that
It's
date
a,
that
it's a
somebody
selfish
else-
perspective. I mean, we've been fortunate with some clients understand that, but that's why we're doing these type of shows is to give them an awareness that as a vendor, we're not trying to take advantage of people. We just want to be fair, and we want our clients to be fair. And just because you're paying for a service does not mean you could be treating the vendors unfairly too, right? And so we are extremely transparent around how we talk to our clients, saying, look, the reason why we want a 50% down is non-refundable deposit because we are booking them a year out. And if you're doing it in August, September, or doing the most, really busy time, there's a chance, there's a really 80% chance that they're going to get booked somewhere else. We get
And but what about even January, February? Who cares if there could have been one other person
That's
who
right.
said, I want that date, and that opportunity got
100%.
taken, was taken. So
100%.
any date to me, and I, as a consumer, I mean, we all are in this where we're booking people sometimes. I know that if I pay a deposit, that's it. It's gone. Whether
That's
I
right.
use it or not, that's
right.
I think it's fair. I think during this time, it's been kind of a, but what if we had to cancel because of this pandemic that we never expected?
Right.
It does make it harder. To me, reschedule.
That's right.
And some people say, well, I don't want to reschedule that, but that is a choice.
That is a choice.
You don't have to cancel. You can reschedule. So, and I've had the tough job of having to ask people for money back on behalf of my clients. It's very challenging.
Do you talk to the clients saying that I don't think it's fair to those vendors if you do it that way?
I am super transparent. So I always say to people, I just want you to know that there was one vendor who I said to the client, I just want you to know that they may not stay in business after this if I get that deposit back. And they were like, I want my money back.
Wow.
It was so hard to ask that vendor for money back.
Mm,
Like I'm emotional right now because it didn't feel
yeah.
good, but I have to do what the client asked me to do with that.
My question now is to you, maybe more ethical thing for you. It's almost like an attorney. Like, do you take on the client knowing that is maybe
They've
moving it
already been
forward
my client. They're already
before
my
they become
client.
your client? Yeah, you're already your client. Too
They're
late.
they are my client at that point. So they've been my client, and now I'm
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
If in the beginning, I mean, you're not hearing it in the beginning. When you're first getting booked, you're not hearing, can you get money back
Right.
from these people? So
I guess on the other side too, we have to understand that we don't know what happened on their end, that they need the money too, because they need to pay their mortgage. I get it,
exactly.
but this is the part of the industry has to be more transparent with their clients on all levels. All vendors need to do that, and not every client is like you. Not every vendor is like you, like me. They go in there and they go, all right, they're just trying to win a booking, period. And they
Oh
hide
yeah.
they hide all these things, and then it's kind of like once they get screwed, they're
It's
screwed.
nasty. It's actually
Yeah,
nasty.
yeah.
I had one last year, one wedding, and the client booked them and then booked me for partial.
Mm,
So she had accidentally, she said, booked them and didn't realize the kind of person they were or the kind of work that they would be producing. It was extremely difficult to work with them because they were that person who you're talking about, who they're just about the booking. They're just about their own pictures. They're
mhm.
not about the client experience. And they actually, at the wedding, I mean, how many stories do we have? It's like crazy. At the wedding, started putting their was like promo cards
Mhm.
down at each place setting that I made sure it looked beautiful. They started putting, so before everyone came in, I always like to bring my clients in to see the room, the reception room.
Yep.
I said to them, just to ask you, because I wasn't working with you when you hired them, do you want them to have these promo cards out on everyone's? They were like, no. So glad I asked. Please remove them. And they did. But it was like, could you imagine if I wasn't
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
And everybody walks into this, you spent all this money on this event. You sit down and there's a promo card on your plate. It's like cheapens the whole thing. How embarrassing.
Uh-huh.
And, they just had these like miserable faces on for the whole night. And I'm like, oh, this is why it's so important who you hire and that
Wow.
you work with, if you're working with a planner, that you work with a planner who has good relationships with people and knows what kind of personalities they have too.
I guess it depends on some weddings too. I had clients where he says, "Where are your promo cards?" Our wedding client would say, "Where are your promo cards? Where's your flyers? You should be promoting our event. You should be promoting in our event." Those are
What
the
kind of
nice. I say,
event?
"Really? Oh,
Yeah,
here's our
amazing.
business cards," and they would actually take it and they would spread it around their in the like the entrance of the reception, and
But this is not a wedding,
this
right?
is a wedding. I've
Oh,
had those.
wedding?
This is what I had for clients, and you know what? Because you know what, they love us so much that they want to help us, and a lot of
Listen, I
clients.
get it. I get loving someone so much, but if I'm getting married, I do not want promo cards all over when you walk in.
Well, not promo
No.
card, like business cards, but yeah, same thing.
Well, I'm about like if someone says, do you have a business card?
Hmm.
Sure. Because this is where we get a lot of clients. I think at weddings, people see how we're working and people see our work and they ask for a business card. That's fine. But having them out is another story. I actually think that's amazing that they were just like, we love you so much. We want you to have, cool.
We get that a lot. We get that a lot. Yeah, and you know what? It's different. It's different on different cultures. Indians are very for businesses, for vendors, for promotions,
Mhm.
yeah. I think we've been lucky. I guess it's different us being in the photo and the video as a photo and video team versus in the wedding team where you're the DJs and the florists and they don't know the type of work that goes into them. For us, we're with them throughout the whole entire day.
I'm just imagining you walk into a wedding and you see the florist business cards, the planner's business cards, the photography, and you're like, hold on, did I just come to a bridal show or did I come to a wedding? I mean,
That is,
you're gonna start trying to sell me?
you know what
How
we
about welcome with some champagne?
That's
Right?
yeah. I mean, but
Oh
I've
my
seen
God.
it. I've seen it like that. I've seen it like that.
Okay, well, you are very lucky.
Yeah.
So I want to I want to talk about um I want to talk about masks. I don't know why
Mask.
my phone is
Okay.
going off when I put
You
on
do you
vibrating
want me
for
to
us.
wear my
Sorry about
mask?
that.
You want me to wear my mask? No.
I want to talk about no, but I've been wearing a mask so much because I've been out a lot. I went to get different products for upcoming events today at stores. I went to a rally. I've been switching them up.
You went to a
So
rally?
I did.
What rally?
We want to talk about that. I went to a rally because our choice, you know what? I'm going to be in the news anyway, so it's fine. But a reporter came up to me because they took away our choice for schools. They asked, do you want hybrid or do you want virtual? People said both,
Yeah.
but then they took away our choice and just said, this is what it is.
Okay.
And we don't like that. We like having choices.
Different level,
Because
different conversation.
both have negatives, right? So we'll leave it there. Okay, so I had to wear a mask, but I wanted to show the different kinds of where there's so much customization. And I was at my friend's store, COVID-19 Essentials in the Short Hills Mall today, and they have really cool customizations because all different fabrics, and you can actually have it like say your name in rhinestones. You can have Chanel. There's so many different types now, and the filtered. So I have this one, which I thought I was going to wear at more events because it's adjustable.
Okay.
And then I
Fancy.
can't breathe good.
Fancy.
Then I have like this fabric, which the loops, they fall off.
Leopard?
I cannot wear that.
Okay, leopard style.
What?
That's a leopard
So,
style.
yes.
Yep.
I have so many now. It's become so. This is one I put on my son sometimes,
Okay.
but it's very bright. And then my mom, awesome mama, she got me this kind, which is like more like the kind that goes. It's very lightweight. And then I like have 5 more. It's just like mask after mask after mask because we're trying to match our clothing and customize. But customization for brides, for bar mitzvahs, for communions, I think this is getting to be huge. I'm making custom masks for
Really?
people for in the next 2 weeks. And it's not, and even there was I think it was on brides.com. There was a whole article about matching your wedding gown with your mask that matches your wedding gown. And how many beautiful, and people are like spending on this now. And
Really?
I wanted to know, like, from your opinion, from your perspective, do you think for events, do you think it's cool to do this and make a big deal of it? Or do you think it's almost like trying to pretend it's not happening and not focusing on it, not making the focus on that, even from a photographer standpoint? Because now we're taking pictures, we're taking video of people dancing in masks, of people pretending to kiss wearing masks. What do you think?
First, I always think safety first. If you're, it's a wedding, it's a big day. You've been dreaming about that moment, and then you're gonna go out and then the day after you're sick and you might have killed somebody. That's the, and so yeah, I'm for the mask. Obviously, I hate wearing masks, but you have to wear the mask to protect others. But I get
But
it,
do you like customization with it? Do you like making a focus on it for the?
I think
for
that's cool. Yeah, I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I wear the star, those $1 masks, the blue ones.
Do you wear those to events?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I feel like I should be in a hospital wearing those.
You know why? First of all, I don't want to keep cleaning the mask.
You have to wash it.
So this one you wear it once and you kind of throw it away, right? That's the idea of it. And so it's me, I'm all about convenience. So so I don't care. You know what they should do? They should do customized $1 mask. That's cool.
I don't think they'd be $1. Oh, you mean they do. They make custom of that kind. They do make custom of that.
Oh.
I don't know. I just ordered and I just got for this upcoming wedding where mine's going to have my logo all over it and it's adjustable and it's cute because it has to be cute.
Wow, a cute mask. Yeah, I mean, I think the mask is becoming this style,
It's the
new style
accessory.
thing. And then, so do you think people are gonna be wearing the mask even after this whole pandemic?
No, I think people hate wearing masks. Even when I went into the store today, she was like, nobody likes wearing a mask. It's because we have to wear masks, so let's make them cute.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
And I was like, these are, and I said, how much are they? And she's like $25 to $45 a mask because they're custom. And I saw this little patch that said troublemaker, and I was like, that's perfect for my 3-year-old, And so but I'm like, already have 10 masks.
Mm.
It's almost like because we're not really buying shoes because we're not going to work as much that way. And we're not buying pants or skirts. We're buying shirts still a little bit. The mask and the shirt are becoming the biggest.
I mean, for me, for a mask, this is like the first time I have not been sick consecutive months like that. I'm usually sick. I'm sick like every other month with a cold, with a
gotta talk
cough,
about that.
with something, And that's how bad it is. I network a lot. You shake people's hands, and all of a sudden you're sick, right?
Yeah.
It's like the first time that I haven't been sick for a long time.
You're like, stay away, everybody.
Like, yes, you know what? Maybe we should just keep wearing masks, and everyone can stay healthier.
Do you think it's the masks or not shaking people's hands?
I think it's both. I think it's not shaking people's hands mostly. I think it's the handshaking and it's the all that touchy, and then I think it's all that. Yeah, but I think in my opinion, I'm pro mask for a wedding.
Yeah. All the time?
Huh?
All the time? Forever?
Forever? No, not forever. But I'm just saying, like right now, yes, I'm pro mask.
Oh, okay.
I'm pro mask.
Yes.
But we go to this wedding and people are not wearing any mask. Really, it's like 10%, 5% people wearing masks at these weddings.
Outside or inside?
Outside. No social distancing.
That's-
You should see the
They're
I'm not
not
going to
social
review
distancing.
which weddings. I'm not going to review what pictures. But if I post them, you'll be shocked. You're talking about, elbow to elbow, nobody wearing masks as if nothing existed.
And they have not been quarantined together?
I don't know. I know, right? They
Because we
should
don't-
quarantine together, right? They should quarantine together. I don't know, but that's what it is. But you know what is even weird too is like even so I have a studio over here, and then I got these people that's coming in for this commercial work and blah blah blah, and they're coming in, they're all like normal. They come in wanting to shake hands, and
I have not had anyone want to shake
and
my
I
hand.
I think it's cultural maybe. They come in and it's like because I'm trying to win the business too, so I shake their hand and I have my
You
sanitizer.
do? Right
and
now, you do?
well, when they come to my building, I do, yeah. And then I shake, and then I put my sanitizer on. I call it a day. Yeah.
Okay.
But you know what?
Sanitizer does
They're
not
older than me. They're more at risk than me. But you
Well,
know what? I
sometimes
mean,
it's
but
older
the
people
thing is, the thing is that it's not like if they touch you, you will get COVID if they have it. It's the fact that if you touch your face, you will get it.
If they coughed into their hand and then they
Yes, and then
then
you will
shook
get
your
COVID
hand.
on your hand. But if you touch your face, then you will get it.
and then you touch your face.
Right. But the point of the mask was all about so you don't touch your face. Right.
Right,
And so
right.
you would, right.
But it's also airborne. That's the other thing. But we have to go back
That's
to
a
this
different story. Yeah,
you're sick
yeah.
every other whatever week or month because that should not happen. But I don't love shaking hands in general, but I have not changed that much from what I was like before. Like I always hated touching handles. I've always washed my hands and
Oh my God. OCD.
this is not my first time buying soap. There's certain things that just have, that's always how I've been. I use sanitizer after I go to the gas station. If I touch anything that a lot of people touch, the ATM, I'm using sanitizer. I've always been like that. So for me, my life hasn't changed much with that, but with the mask, of course. But with your immune system, I do nutrition also and wellness. So when I hear that you're sick all the time, usually, but not when you're wearing a mask, we have to build your immune system because
Yeah. I mean, I need more vitamin C. I need a lot of vitamins in my body. I get it. But, I haven't been sick for that long. And, I had to
But
say
you shouldn't have
that.
to wear a mask to stay healthy, is my point.
Oh,
Right? You shouldn't have to wear a mask to stay healthy. You should, if you, well, yeah, I'll have to look at your, you know, everything. But if you if you're eating well, if you're exercising, if you're taking your vitamins, and if you're getting enough sleep, which I know I shouldn't talk about sleep because I work really, really late. People are like, just did I get an email from you at 1 a.m.? Yes.
cool, cool.
So I get it with that.
Question for you. So when you book with a wedding client, do you advise them on their nutrition?
If they book me for that as well.
Oh,
So
you
I
do two
have
things.
the
You offer two packages in
wedding
that.
planning, and then I have the packages that if they want to also look and feel their best for their wedding, then they can book that as well.
Nutrition. Interesting.
It's a one-stop shop.
I gotcha, gotcha. It makes a lot of sense. When couples get about to get married, I never seen the groom work out as much as they have, and everyone just working out, just getting in shape, and then after the wedding's over, they're out of shape again. So.
But you know what's very interesting that I've noticed recently? I don't think people are doing it as much for these weddings because you know how we were all talking last week about, oh, now I want to get married in 2 weeks. They're kind of like, love me for who I am, and it doesn't matter as much what I look like and what, let's just get married. And I'm just going to be this person, which is beautiful
Yes.
because it shouldn't be about that.
Yeah.
But part of it is I want people to feel energized for their day. I want them to have good skin and feel really confident.
That's an interesting topic. Do you think that this COVID thing took the superficial things out of people?
Yeah, look at most people are not as vain as they were. I mean, look at even people like, you know what? My gray is showing. Like you, how many times have we heard that? Where I don't really need a haircut as often. Even when I went to get a haircut last month, finally after 6 months, I said, "So when's the next time I need to come back?" And they were so, I love them because they're so honest and they're just like, 6 months. You've gone 6 months without, and it was good. 6 months again. And we're not needing to, that's actually why I went even more natural, is because I'm like, I don't want to be doing this all the time. I think people are doing a little bit less makeup, but definitely hair is not, they're not doing as much. And clothing, exercise, I don't think people are feeling very good about themselves right now. So I think that's different than the vanity of it.
Yeah.
Eating, people are not eating as well. So I think that most people will want to get back there, but they're just still in this stage of, we're at home, we're okay. And we have realized that we just love each other. We don't need to worry about everything else. That's with weddings too.
Yeah.
With everything.
Okay.
Which is nice too. It's like you see both sides.
Yeah, I agree with that, and yeah, I think this whole pandemic thing kind of normalized of what's actually really important, and it's, but you know what, culturally, it's, I heard from Josh said offline saying that the reason why there's a lot of Jewish weddings right now is because they have to get married.
Because you have to keep the date.
You have to keep the date. And what
If you're
if they change the date?
Jewish,
What happens? Bad luck for the rest of your life.
well, it's not even, you just have to keep your date and that's it. That's your date.
But
And
if
if you
only
want
if
to,
you're
like,
like really culturally in there, right? Because there's other Jewish weddings that
yeah.
do change their dates.
I have two people recently who, one person still got married. She just had a totally different kind of backyard wedding. Another one, we've rescheduled a couple times, and they're going to get married very tiny on that second date because they already changed it one time. And they're like, we don't want to, we just have to get married on this date already. So they had kind of gone around that first one, and then they're going to be having another, a bigger.
I
So yeah, it is cultural, but I think with some people it's also just like we want to get married, we want to move on with our lives, and that's why I'm offering the package of have the ceremony now, and then let's plan a big celebration, with or without ceremony later. So then you have something to look forward to. Also, you're not just saying, "Oh, this was my wedding," and
Yeah.
hopefully someday we'll be able to get it done in a big way. But now you can plan for it.
Right. Okay.
So I want to also talk about the how do you see this? I don't know if you talk to other people in the industry about this, but depression within the event industry. It is, everyone knows if you just say I'm in the event industry, everyone's like, oh, now because of what's going on. It's hard. It's people just feel badly for you, even though we're like, no, we love being in the event industry. It's just a tough time. And the fact that there's not a next step of there's not like, this is the day when dance floors will come back. There's no,
Well, I mean,
we don't have
I,
it.
you know, so just to let everyone know, I had 19 employees. I had to let 7 people go, so I have 12. But I have 60, 70 plus contractors from photos, video that work with us. And I could tell you, all those contractors, we had to do these, I guess every 45 days or 60 days we would do this meeting.
Yep.
And I could definitely tell this, low energy. And I feared that we were going to lose our suppliers, meaning that they're going to take a whole new direction. They're going to say, I'm
Right.
out of this event industry. I'm going to get a real job, you know? Like, I want to get a nine to
Because the event
five,
industry is
I'm going
not
to,
a real job.
yeah, I know. And so it's like, I'm going to get a real job, because they love the industry. The photographer, this is a passion for them to create art and
Yeah.
all this other stuff, right? And they're not getting to do that. And they're going to have to go back into doing something to support themselves and support their families. So I fear that how long does this last for them to start making that decision now? And so all of a sudden we're going to 2021. People are booking from 2021 right now, tons of them. 2022. I mean, it's like Broadway, that you have to book in like 3 years in advance. It's gonna be like that,
Yeah.
especially with us in soon because it's just getting out of control. But I
Right.
fear our suppliers too. Like okay, hey, the jobs are coming,
Because
guys.
they can't wait a year before they work
That's
again. Like,
right. That's
great, I'm
right.
glad we got booked, but we can't just sit around until
And
then.
I find that to be the federal government's responsibility to support that as we go into to the pivot into the new economy.
That's why we've been talking to Live Events Coalition and they're talking to Congress, and because our industry is so different in that,
Yep.
sure, industries can start to pick up again, but when ours starts to pick up, it's for a year from
A
now.
year from
It's
now,
for two
exactly.
years from now.
Yep.
It's delayed.
Yep. I tell like all our new guys that work with us. They say, hey, I love your work. We want to join you. Sure, come on, join. Work with us. I love you, Rio. I love what you do. Sorry, you're gonna have to wait a year to work with us. I said, what do you mean a year? Yeah, you can't jump in right now. I got everything booked for this year. You have to come next year, but you need to start shadowing. You need to get yourself ready for 12 months. It's hard to get into
Well, what are
an
they
event
supposed to do?
industry.
How are they supposed to eat during that time?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I said,
Right?
hey, go out and wait tables. Well, you can't wait tables now, right? It's still, the restaurant industry is still shambles. But I said,
I know a few people who have done that,
yeah, you
who have
have to.
started waiting tables during this time while they are working for a DJ company, and
Yep.
because they got furloughed and they know they'll be coming back, but right now, but how many people can go into the same industry also, especially when look how many restaurants are going to close.
Yeah.
So everyone's having a hard time, but I think within the event industry, I'm doing a 3-week mindset series for Evolve Pink, a breast cancer foundation. Tomorrow is my third week.
Wow.
And people are like, oh, wow, this is really cool that you're doing this. And I've actually been approached by several people within the event industry. Can I join? I'm like, yeah, it doesn't have to be just if you have breast cancer, it's anyone who really needs that mindset change. And the event industry people do. They're having a really hard time. They're saying to me, I love to work. I love to be creative and I can't right now. And I don't believe in word can't. So I'm like, you have to pivot your way of thinking. You can be creative in different ways. You can come up with new offerings. It's just difficult. It's just challenging. But
Yeah.
they're feeling really low.
Yeah, I mean, from this, yeah, I mean, it's this. Not everyone are like you, and then not everyone like us, and it's hard to judge that because they all grow up differently.
Yeah.
They think a little bit
Yeah, you
differently.
can't
They're not
judge.
entrepreneurs in the first place if they're not, and if they are, they're maybe mom and pop shop type of entrepreneurs, or they're not. So it's a totally different environment. I do feel bad about it, you know, and I would say that it's, yeah, the government shut it down. The government needs to bring it back up themselves, and they need to help everybody. And I think
Yep.
that it's the government is not doing, you know what, they did a great job with the PPP. You know, the
Yeah.
PPP, the EID loan, it put people afloat. You know,
Right.
the businesses that were existing already, they put it afloat, and
Right.
those that were, the unemployment was cool. Yes, there's some backlashes around that, people don't want to work, but that's really, the government can't
Yeah.
help that, right?
Personal.
That's a personal
But the
issue.
event, but the restaurant business in New Jersey still cannot eat inside. New
That's right.
York, you can.
Right.
Come on, guys, get it together.
That's right.
Make one decision
Yeah.
that you decide on together because
But you know,
so if I have a wedding in New York, I can.
but the problem about that is that the federal is from the top is different.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they give you this regulation, this policy around, you know, how the states should operate, and then it's up to the state to make those part of the decision because it's too much for the federal government to do. I understand that portion of it.
Yeah.
So the issue is that, look, I got the me for as a business, I got the PPP EID through the federal government. I filled out the grant 5 times in New Jersey, not even one call I got back because I think it's rigged. I said it, yes. I said it on the thing. I think it's rigged. I think New Jersey
Why
is
do you
really
think it's
rigged.
rigged?
I'm on the board of the Department of Labor for, you know, in New Jersey. And I could tell you that it's should be ran a little bit differently. Let's keep it that way.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because the mindset, because you know, you got people on the boards and you got people in the government that are not they're not entrepreneurs, and the entrepreneurs are not in the board. It's regular people that are hired as a 9 to 5 job to be part of something that of
Well, this
using
is with
their theories.
anything. Look at even the rules with any of this.
Think about
We're
this.
being told.
Let me give you perspective. During this whole thing, because we're still in the pandemic, even the government got laid off.
Did that? I didn't even.
Government people got laid off. They don't have enough money to support, and so it's like,
Well,
yeah, and
there's
so
a lot of money. It just goes to different places.
it could be like that too. I mean, I think it's corrupted. I mean, you know, I think it's corrupted. I think there's a lot of things that's happening over here, and you know, but you don't know, so you can't judge it, and it's all happening behind the
Right.
scenes. It's all happening behind the
That's
scenes.
where transparency
But I
comes
could
in.
tell
But we're
you
never
that-
getting transparency.
But I can tell you that I never received one call from New Jersey. I never received one call from the county, and I feel that all these grant applications that I'm totally qualified for,
Yeah.
never got anything, and nor do I know anyone that got anything.
That's so strange.
No,
Well-
and so when you're talking about New York, New Jersey being so different, it's, well, you know, it's different governments, different people working
Right.
differently. That's all that is.
Right.
What are you gonna do?
But I mean, from our point of view of, you know, it's crazy. Like, should I be guiding people to get married in New York now so you can eat inside? It's just,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Where from
Yeah.
our industry standpoint,
But
they're
that's
so
cool that you
different.
could eat inside of New York now. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Inside small quantities, but in New Jersey you can't.
No.
That's just anyway. Should we do Q&As?
Yeah. If there are any questions,
Are there any questions? If
don't
not, I
see
had a couple people send in advance, but
yeah,
any
let's
questions?
let's see the advanced questions that came in.
Okay. Any new trends within the video industry? That's yours, obviously.
The new trend is live stream.
Live stream.
Live stream is the new trend.
One
it's-
person, like one camera person, or more, or you doing live streaming from different angles, or
It's okay. So I would say we are just to give people perspective who don't know cinematic weddings, don't know the visuals like that. I consider us being the 1% or 2% of companies that do what we do. We tell stories for wedding couples.
Yeah.
So that has not been a trend since it's been the trend since 2009, right?
Okay.
And it's the reason why I have business in the first place was because we took advantage of the whole cinematic trailers, what everyone was doing, traditional videography, right? so that's always been new and different for people. So when it comes to trending, I would say, yeah, the last couple few years, drones, right? I see
Right.
what's coming right now. It's us trying to tell stories it's been a trend. It's just hard to find people that could tell good stories. Maybe that's a good thing for us
What if you
because
don't love the story? What if, do you ever have this where someone doesn't let you in enough to know their story? So you're trying to tell their story, but
yeah,
you're like, it's like,
that's right. And then I always go back to them. I always say, so why did you book us?
you actually say that to
Yeah,
them?
I would say to them. I would say, so if you didn't want a card reading, if you didn't want to tell vows, if you want to be not talking in the wedding, why did you book us? Oh, and the
But
answer
I
is,
mean, if they have
the
those
answer
things,
is really simple to them because you're reliable.
oh,
Reliable. So what I learned is that they didn't book us just for our creativity and the fancy stuff that we do. They booked us because they know we're gonna show up to their wedding. Because
okay, well,
that's a
that's
half the
good
battle too.
also.
Huh?
I mean, it's kind of crazy. It's good. Of course, it's great that you have a reputation of being reliable, but also, why would you have anybody there if you're not going to do anything? But I mean, emotionally, where not physically, they're doing things, but where emotionally you're like, let me know you, let me get to know you,
Hmm.
and they're just not. Because I have that sometimes where most of my clients want, I'm asking them questions, they're telling me we're
Yeah.
forming a relationship. Once in a while, I'll get someone who really it's like I'm trying to pull it out of them. They just will not share. They
Yeah.
have their guard up. It's very hard. You're telling stories. How do you tell a story if someone won't let you in?
Yeah, you can't. You know what? We could always tell a story though. And what we
Mhm.
did was we started learning how to tell a story without even having to do dialogue. So you do visual stories, right? Obviously.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
tell the story with the cinematics of music and how
Yes.
you could still see how they first met. You could still see the
Okay.
emotions when they're doing their makeup. And so we think
Okay.
about it in a very, so each shot that we think about is always still emotionally driven. So even if there's no dialogue, even though that helps like crazy, but if there's no dialogue, it's okay. We figured out that okay, we'll tell it through music and we'll tell it through your visuals and pace it really well.
Right.
Sometimes the best stories are when people don't talk either, right? Like look at the silent films and stuff, right? Those type of stuff. And
Mhm.
so it's kind of
You
like
watch
we think
silent
about it
films a
that way
lot?
too, and
Do you watch silent films a lot?
I think my favorite black and white movies are silent films. Yeah.
Ah.
Charlie Chaplin type of stuff, right? Yeah, those are my
Yeah,
favorites. Those are my favorites.
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I hate dialogue films, especially back in the 60s, 50s, because there's too much talking and not enough good visuals. And then you just kind of like us right now, right? We're talking heads, we're talking a lot. Question is, how much information can they bring in and retrieve, right? Those type of stuff. So
Right.
what we try to do is when it comes to the client, we always tell them that we're a storytelling company. We tell the
Mhm.
stories, but you know what? Some people don't care. Some people want to book, and someone want to do that. So, but right now, what's trending and what I see really fascinating is the live stream. It's not as for us. What we do is very cinematic when it comes to live stream, but it's still a live stream.
Yeah.
It's not like you're telling a great story out of a live stream.
Oh, okay. So when they're live streaming, it's not just like, this is what I
No,
picture
no, no.
live streaming.
It's not your
I
phone
feel
live
like this is
stream.
live
No, it's
streaming,
not
like,
that. No, no, no. We're still the way you see the ceremony walking down, you'll still see it in a cinematic quality. We're still using the exact same cameras. We could
very cool.
live stream drones if we wanted to.
Okay. So you guys, this is awesome. So I didn't realize that
Yeah, you
as
know
a
what?
wedding
That
planner.
I think that I just learned something right now. I think people perceiving live stream. You know what? Live stream it's done so poorly all across the board
Mhm.
that it's hard to see when you hear live stream. They just kind of maybe some of them are like this,
You
but
think of live stream as like you put up a obviously I don't think you're going to do this, but where someone could put up a laptop and Zoom
no,
and there you
no,
go,
no,
live
no, no,
streaming.
no, no, no. Don't
He's
you
like,
dare, Amanda,
cringe,
insult live
cringe,
stream.
cringe.
Don't you dare. No, no. It's not like that at all. it's sophisticated. What we do is that we bring the internet to the location, right? That's number one. Number two is we shoot it with like 3 cameras. It's multi-cut. And during the reception, during the party, it looks like a music video during a live stream because we have an operator on hand doing this. We have a wide shot, and then we have another long lens doing reaction shot. So it's always cutting, and it feels like when you see our videos,
So cool.
it has that feeling to it with music behind it, live music on it.
So I
So it's
think
definitely
that
not a
you
Zoom
can-
call. It's not a phone
This
live
is
stream
why.
at all.
Wait, let me tell you why. Because I think the part of my inside my head why I was thinking that was you priced it very fairly, like very fairly. So that's
know.
probably why I was thinking it wasn't as
Oh, that's
cinematic.
interesting.
Also,
That's interesting. You know what? I just felt like people during this time wanted, even though the pandemic and there's so much uncertainty, I priced it very low just
Right.
so they have an opportunity to have a wedding.
and I love that. I love that you did that
Because most
you're
of
right.
because those clients already either they're gonna book photos and maybe a bigger video package. They don't need to get slammed hard with a live streaming package when they could just have it, you know. And so I did.
I love that you did that. A lot of people, you're seeing both sides. You're seeing people doing this sort of thing where you're giving back. I've been giving back. I have been doing so much extra hours. I mean, it's kind of ridiculously crazy, but I've been doing that for people. But then you have the other side where people are just trying to sell, just to book it, just to make money, just to make money. So you're seeing both sides. But I like that you're doing that. So thank you. As a planner, thank you.
What's the next question?
Should we ask the other question or should we save it for next time?
Let's save it. Let's save it for next time. You know what we want to do is, it's kind of like, it's. I think we need to, hopefully make sure that everyone's subscribing to Live Picture Studios and, tell anyone that's getting married to watch it. I mean, I get it. If you already booked the wedding, more than likely you don't want to see some sort of content like this. If you're done with the wedding,
why? You're learning the new trends of what you should be getting. You're finding out more about us if you booked us.
That's true.
That's true. And you're getting to know just different perspectives because you're only seeing it from the client's perspective. It's also important to hear it from your vendors.
You know what? I mean, I think vendors should be watching this a lot too. I think
it's really for both.
Yeah, from an entrepreneurship standpoint and everything else, and learning how to deal with clients in distress during this time too, and how to have some ideas. This is the time to ask questions. So, we'll keep doing this next week, and and then hopefully we'll get more questions. That's fine.
Yeah, ask away. But if you wanted to, you can still ask me in private or ask Kwa, and we'll save it and we'll say it on live. Right. But if you want to be bold, ask in the live underneath the YouTube. And
talking about discounts and promotions, we are doing a pretty good discount to the end of the month of August as well. So anyone that inquires, do Live Picture Studios. You just talk to our producers and they give you the full run of the gamut. But just make sure you ask about the full.
Are you selling yourself right now? Are you selling?
I'm not selling right now, but I'm
services
helping.
right now?
I'm helping. I'm helping. I'm helping. So it's people always looking for a deal, right? And so with that, I would say, just join us next week.
Yes. Definitely join us next week. We thank you so much for being here and joining us today. And looking forward to new topics and lots of fun next week. Thanks, guys.
All right. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
From the first time I set my eyes on you, I didn't know from the start. I didn't know how you turned my life around.